Welcome to LiveDaf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem. Welcome back to today's Daf Yomi, NIDAH Daf Lamed Gimel. We are holding on Lamed Beis and Beis, around 9-10 lines from the bottom. Hakusim metamin mishkav tachten kelly. So before we begin, a little introduction in place. So an Isha who's a NIDAH, she is metame, something that she comes into contact with, to the point that if she touches a person, that person and his clothing that he's wearing, it's called latame adam or latame begadam. Him and his clothing, one package, become tummy. We'll call that level 3, the highest level in our discussion. Not only that, even her mishkav, her moishav, something that she sits on, she lies on a chair, a mattress, will also carry over and pass on that type of tumah. So now if a person touches that mattress, him and his clothing get affected. So this mattress is a avha tumah, a source of tumah, to the point that it can convey this type of strict, high-level type of tumah. And we also know that a boyal nidah, a fellow who is physically involved, direct with a nidah, will get her tumah. So he gets a 7-day tumah. And likewise, if he now touches somebody, that's the highest level of tumah, level 3. That person and his clothing become affected. However, this high-level tumah does not extend to his accessories, so like his chair, his mattress, his mishkav and moishav, although they are tummy, but to a much lesser degree. They're considered risha in the tumah, a step down. Actually, it's 2 steps down, because these mattresses can only be matami food and drink, can't even affect a person. There's going to be something called level 2, somewhere in the middle, which the Gemara will discuss. We'll get to that later. And perhaps it can be matami a person, a kli, and stop there, not the full person and his clothing on him. And that'll be the mid-level, which we'll discuss soon. So on the one hand, the husband of the nidah who's involved with her gets her tumah, 7-day tumah, and he can convey it the highest possible way. If he touches a person, that whole person and his entities begotten become affected, but it doesn't necessarily extend over to his accessories to the same extent as by her. His mattress, his chair, is a rishon. The tumah can only contaminate food and drink, not people or articles or kelim. Now these kusim, who were possibly considered boyali nidas because their wives were possibly in a state of nidah, and due to their involvement with their wives, they become tamei. We said in the Mishnah they're tamei on account of the uncertainty. It's not a confirmed tumah, and they're classified like boyali nidas. Hakusim metamin mishkav tachten kelyan. Therefore, they're matami, their mishkav, their mattress, like a kelyan, like something above. Now, what does that mean? My mishkav tachten kelyan. Elam does it mean, irrespective of how many layers they sit on. They sit on 10 mattresses. The one on bottom, despite its distance, will have the same severity as the one on top. The Iko Yud Matzoyis, we have 10 mats, 10 mattresses, just for lion, he sits above them. Mitam Alu, they all become tummy, even the bottom one. Pshita, of course, the Adarslo, he's putting his weight on them. What's the difference if it's the first one next to him or the 10th one on bottom? It's not the actual contact that's contaminating them, it's the using them, it's the sitting on them. And that's equally going to affect the one on top as the one on bottom. Elorad, the Mishnah means like this. Then in general, a boyal nidah, or a kusi who is classified as such, although he receives the tumah of the isha, it descends upon him, but not to the same severity. So his accessories are not affected to that extent. Rather, the point of the mission is that the item beneath the fellow, the boyal nidah, is only a rishon l'tumah, kilyan ishal zav, like something which was perched on a zav, meaning something which was sitting at the cap of the zav. It's going to get some tumah, but not considered an ava tumah. It's a rishon tumah. Ma al yoni shel zav, just like the al yoni shel zav sitting on the zav, any matame eloichlem mashkin, only affects food and drink. It's only rishon tumah. After tani shel be'onida, likewise, it matches beneath the be'onida, has that lesser tumah. We called it, level 1. Eine matame eloichlem mashkin. Now, how do we know? Al yoni shel zav minol. How do we know that that's only going to convey tumah in a light way? The chsiv pasuk. A fellow touched something which was beneath the zav. Yitma. Now, what does tachtav mean? My tachtav. Ilemo. Turn to the next one. The only tachtav of the zav. We're speaking about something which the zav sat on. There are different ways of calling it. Midras, mishkav, moishav. Right? But the bottom line is, the zav put his weight on it. Then it's unnecessary to speak about it. We already have a pasuk for that. Maybe Isha sheyiga b'mishkav nafka. It's learned from that pasuk. Person touches the mishkav of a zav. Woe to him. So what's the repetition for? Rather, instead of beneath the zav, the pasuk means that the zav was beneath this item. Hazav tachtav. Umaynu, what is the elyon shel zav? That's the elyon shel zav that we're talking about all along. So let's say, a shirt that he was wearing, etc. And in this same pasuk, interestingly, we have a reference to an actual mishkav as well. It talks about this item. And then it continues, Vanoisa oisam. Person carries them, Yichabis begadav. It affects him and his clothing. That's talking about a different thing. We'll see in a minute what that is. So what's the second item in the pasuk? That's talking about a mishkav, a moishav, something which actually was beneath the zav. That carries level 3 of tumah. But the first item, the shirt of the zav, which was on him, not beneath him, nitkaya kosav, Torah is now detaching him. Mini tumah chamura, from the more severe tumah, from level 3, ve'aviyai, who did tumah kala, and put it under the banner of tumah kala. A lighter tumah, level 1. This shirt is only time food and drink. It's only a rishon tumah. So on the one hand, we have it all in the same pasuk, but the pasuk is split into two. First, yitma, that has its own tumah classification, a lighter tumah, level 1. And then we have that's talking about a real mishkav, a that was beneath the zav. That's level 3. If one touches it, him man is begun to become tam. Okay, so now we've established that the mishkav of a zav is an avatuma, matavel, tam on the highest level. Whereas just the yoyin shel zav, something perched on him, which touched him but wasn't beneath him, then as a lighter form of tumah, it's only a rishon tumah, which is the time of food and drink. And in a minute we're going to explore the status of a boil NIDAH as well. Says the Gemara, I understand that the elyon shel zav, this shirt doesn't have level 3. Fine. But maybe level 2? Maybe there's something in the middle. It's an avatuma to mitame a person or a kli. Sure, not level 3, that's mitame the whole package of the person and his begadim as one. But maybe level 2, maybe something in the middle. Maybe perhaps we can suggest, yes, the Torah detached him from the highest level to learn mitame adam tam begadim. So that's not mitame person and his begadim as one package. Avol, but maybe level 2. It has avdam ay begadim mitame. It's mitame a person or begadim amakra. Let's take a look at the words of the pasuk. Yitma. Yitma means some tumah. At a minimum, tumah kala mashma, which is level 1. It's only a rishon l'tumah, matame food and drink. Let's shift over to the Bayal Nida. B'tachtoin shel Bayal Nida, minolan. A fellow was involved with Nida. His chair, his mattress, is matame, but as we said, it's only level 1. It's only a rishon l'tumah, a lower level tumah, which is matame food and drink. How do we know? Minol, the sanya. On the one hand, the pasuk says, a fellow gets involved with her, Tini does so Allah, her status jumps on him. So he becomes a nida, just as she is. Now let's say she's already, the third day of her 7-day count. Does he start there? Does he end at the same time? Does he finish the same as her? Yachol yalul ragla. Ragla means the finish line. Perhaps he joins her to her finish line. So he only has to be tummy for a couple of days, not a full 7. No. 7 is inseparable. It's a 7-day unit of tumah. And if he gets her tumah, it's for the next 7 days, irrespective of where she's holding. So why is the pasuk use that expression, which indicates that he does match up to her where she's holding? The answer is like this. To teach us the severity, the degree of tumah that he gets. Perhaps I would think, lo yitami adam kli cheres. Maybe a Bayal Nida cannot be matame a person, or kli cheres. Maybe only food and drink, as level 1. Tamalayma tin dasa olav. Pasuk compares them. He gets the same level tumah as she does. Mahi matama adam, kli cheres. Just like she touches a person or kli cheres. Rashi explains that even though earthenware kli is not matame from the outside, but if you move it, it's like you touch the inside, and that's unique to a nida or to a zav, and he gets that ability as well. Afu matami adam uklei charis. Okay, so in terms of his personal ability to be matame, he's just like her. He's an avatuma to the highest degree. And if he touches a person, it's level 3 tumah. The person in his full entity, his full package, all his clothing as well. L'tami adam tami begad. But, as we said before, that high level tumah pertains to him, but not to his accessories. In that sense, he's different than her. By her, either her own contact or the accessories' contact generates level 3 tumah. But by him, if he touches somebody, yes, level 3. But his extensions, his accessories, no. That's the next point of the Gemara. Well, if we're going to compare them, perhaps all the way. Just like she generates a mishkav moshav with level 3. Perhaps he as well. His mattress, his chair, will have level 3 tumah with a person and his begadim on it. We have a pasuk to exclude him from that. So the pasuk says he gets her tumah, and the tumah will affect his accessories. Isn't that superfluous? I mean, if he gets her tumah, then just look at what she does and just copy it over. It seems unnecessary to spell it out again. So why does the pasuk spell it out? Itma says, look, it's a limited tumah. So in terms of the personal tumah, yes, he rises to her occasion. But in terms of the extensions, the accessories, it doesn't carry over that far. Fact is, he was not an NIDAH. He's just taking from her. So it sort of stops there. It doesn't extend over to his extensions and to his accessories. Disengaged it from the high level tumah, and put it into tumah kala to tell you that it's only a rishon l'tumah to tame food and drink, to tell you. Okay, so at this point, what do we have? Anita herself is tame for 7 days. She's high level tumah, to the point that if she touches a person, or even her accessories, her chair, or her seat, it will be matame, the person and his begadim. Whereas a Bayal Nida, even though he's tummy for 7 days, and if he himself touches somebody, likewise, that person and his begadim get affected, but it stops there. It doesn't transfer to his accessories like his mishkav and moshav, which although they are tamei, but only a minimal tumah, level 1, they're matame food and drink. Asks the Gemara very similar to before, so why not level 2? I understand, not level 3. Perhaps you can suggest. True, the mattress of the Bal Nida doesn't have the same tumah, but maybe it's level 2. We could say Netaka Akosef Mi Tumah Chamura Ve'evil Tumah Kala. Torah did this, detach it from the highest level tumah and put it under a tumah kala. Little tami adam l'tumi begadim. Fine, it doesn't have level 3. The person and his begadim together, but maybe level 2 it has. Aval adam begadim tami a person, or if it touches a beged, tami the beged. Amar Rav Asi. Once again, let's take a look at the wording of the pasuk. It says yitma. Yitma means a minimal tumah kala mashma. Hence we know it's only rishon l'tumah can affect food and drink, and no more. And now comes a kasha ema, perhaps. Who says that a Baal Nida receives her tumah with respect to his ability to transmit it further? Perhaps it's limited to his mishkav. Right? The pasuk does stipulate that his mishkav has tumah, so maybe it's limited to that only. Ema, perhaps we can suggest. Uti nidasa alav. Her status extends to him. That's a general directive without specifying how and what, klal. Then we have v'chol mishkav. It's followed by an expression relating to his seat. And that becomes tamei prat. So that's a detail. That's a specific. So that's a klal uprat. And we know that when the Torah generalizes and then specifies, we say ein b'chlal ela mashu b'prat. The klal only applies to that specific detail. So mishkav u'moshav, maybe only his mishkav, his moshav is metame mid yachrin alay, but otherwise not. Hamar Abaye v'tamei shivas yomim mafsuk ha'inyan. In this very same pasuk, we have a separator, because between the two expressions, the klal and the prat, we have v'tamei shivas yomim mafsuk ha'inyan. And since we have that separator, have a klal prat, although it's a klal and a prat, but it's hameruchach and zemezeh. They're distant from each other, and you can't combine them into one formula of klal prat. And the klal prat hameruchach and zemezeh ain't done noise. You can't apply it. Bichlal uprat. Rabba Amar Leilam Don. Even if there is a gap between them, you can theoretically join them together into one formula. But here it's different. B'chol mishkav, the extra b'chol ribuyu. It's an expansive term to tell you that his tumah is not limited to his mattress. Maskav Rav Yaakov. One more question on this topic. So, on the one hand, we say that the Baal Nida gets her tumah, but then we say, look, not to the same extent. By her, it's level 3 consistently, whether she touches something or her accessories, level 3. That person and his begadim come tummy as one. But by him we say, look, if he touches a person, that person and his begadim become tummy, but his accessories, his mishkav, his moshav, no, not to the same extent. How can you differentiate between him and her? Maskav Rabbi Yaakov. Eimakihi, perhaps we should fully compare him to her. Now, there's no difference between direct contact or through accessories. Mahi, just like by her, it's all level 3. But there's no distinction. By her, bein magah, between what she directly touches, limishkava, or what her mattress touches. In both, we say level 3. L'tami adam and his begadim, l'tami begadim. L'chumra. So we're strict on both ends. On the flip side, on his end, we should go all the way down to level 1, whether it's direct or indirect. Who lo yitach boy. Bein magad mishkav, we should not differentiate between direct contact with him or his mishkav. Regarding l'tami adam tam begadim, regarding the ability to achieve level 3, we should not. We should discount that. L'kula. So just like by her, it's both level 3. By him, it should be both level 1. If we're comparing the two people, it should be a consistent type of tumah all throughout. Amar Rava, the comparison between him and her came from the pasuk Udhina Dasa Alav. And the word Alav says, pile it on, latinai mashma. Pile it up. Give it to him at the worst way. Meaning to say that although when it comes to his accessories we have an exemption, but regarding him himself, he certainly rises to her occasion and he affects an Adam and his begadim. Okay, so bottom line is, a mishkav, a moishav, midras, different descriptive terms regarding seats and mattresses that were used by a zav, a zava, a NIDAH. All these are very, very tummy to the point that they're matami a person and his begadim, which he's wearing. A bayal NIDAH gets the NIDAH's tumah for a full 7 days, and if he touches, Adam and his begadim become tummy. But in terms of his accessories, it's only rishon l'tumah, and tummy food and drink. Likewise, the fellows in the Kusim community who were suspected of being involved with NIDAHs, they too have this status. And the Gemara continues, you know why? Because they're classified shein bayali NIDAHs. Ask the Gemara, how do we know? Consider them all to be bayali NIDAHs? Atu kulu bayali NIDAHs ninu, even the single ones? No, we're talking about the married ones. Now why? Because the women are extra observant. Even green, yellow dam, they consider dam NIDAH. Now what could be wrong with that? Tanya, Rebbe has a question. If anything, that's an advantage. They're more strict. Amar Meir, if they observe every type of dam, it's even better. How could you go wrong? Ella rather means like this. Sometimes by being more strict, you can end up sacrificing the real thing. What happens is, on Sunday, let's say, they saw dam yarek, green, right, yellow, which is not really dam NIDAH. And to them, it's all one and the same. They begin their 7-day count, and on Tuesday only, they started dam adam. So according to the true halacha, 7-day period starts on Tuesday, over until the next Tuesday. And by then, she's already deep in the middle of her 7-day count, which had started on Sunday, mistakenly. And by the time Shabbos comes, it's over, which is still 3 days short. So being machmer, in effect, can lead to a leniency. Even though they experience red on Tuesday, they added on the dam yarek to the yellow Sunday experience. And that causes them to terminate their observance of NIDAH prematurely. Davar acher, another miscalculation that they do, when they're a zava, let's say she had dam 3 days in a row during the ziva time of the month, halacha is that for 3 days she's saying, and that requires 7 clean days, starting the following day. She can't start today. Let's say she had a riyah Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Tuesday is considered one of the 3 May ziva. She must start counting the Shiva Nakim starting from Wednesday, and they jive the two, they combine the two. Tuesday, which is the last of the 3 days of Riyah, so the day that she stops, she considers it to be the first of these 7, like Mitzvah Sayem Kikulai, right? Well, part of the day is good enough. As long as the latter part of the day was clean, it counts as day number 1 for 7. So she counts it into the Laminian Shiva. What's wrong with this perennial? Let her count it. But we too should go with that rule. We have an established rule throughout the Torah. When you observe part of the day, such as in this case, where the last part of the day was clean, let that be considered like the full day. You experienced an element of this day b'tahara, to count as day 1. Amar Rava, that cannot be. I'll even prove it to you. It came because if it were so, I have a question from a different direction. A zav, a man who's now observing Shiva Nakim. Fact is, if he sees something during those 7 days, if he sees ziva material, it cancels the whole count. If he sees shechva zera, different type of mission, it only disrupts one day, the day that he saw it, and has to recount that day. Shechva zera the sasar b'ziva. How could that ever happen? Let's say he had the sighting middle of the day. Okay, fine. So interrupted his count, but fact is, the last part of the final part of that day was clean. Mikta Sayim Kikuloi. So he can count a day into his count. Sheichvas Zera the Sasa that would disrupt Ziva. If it occurred during the middle of a Ziva count, how could that be? As long as a portion of that day was clean, that's good enough. What says the Gemara? You're assuming that he saw midday. Maybe he saw a second before Shkia. There was no moment in time for him to have even a clean element of that day. Either Chazay Palgal if he saw it middle day, Chanami, you're right, you would have a question. Chacham was speaking to Chazay Chacham. He saw it right before sunset. There was an opportunity to have him. Even Mitzvah Sayim Kikuloi. Really, is it likely that the pasuk, which requires him to reckon for the zera and disrupt the day, is talking squarely in that kind of case when it's exactly before sunset? How likely is that? We should go and establish the pasuk and say the pasuk is only speaking about samach shesacham ksiva. Yeah, al-kach, you have to be compelled to say it, otherwise it wouldn't work. Shkaf k'lekro, leave the pasuk. The pasuk is self-compelling itself, so to speak, to be applied in this way. There's no other way to reconcile it. So it turns out that we seem to be concluding that, in fact, even a day which had some sort of experience can still be counted in, as long as the last part of the day was observed properly. But in fact, Tesa says over here, Eina emes kain. And halacha, we don't adopt this approach. We're going to come more later, Daf Samach Tes, that it was just sort of for discussion's sake, but ultimately we don't really hold that Mitzvah Sayim applies in this way. So that's why even right nowadays we take the assumption that Isha is a Zava, she has to have 7 clean days. We only start the day after. You never start the day that she stops, right? Seeing. Boy Rami Barcham. I have a question for you. A general question. A woman receives zera from the man, and now she's sort of releasing that zera. We know from the whole story of Matan Torah that she gets a tumah by doing so. And the question is, why? Is it considered like a self-generated type of experience, like a person would have ziva and a woman would have dam, in which case, if it would occur during these 7 clean days, it would totally disrupt it, right? That's the halacha. The 7 clean days of a zava, etc., are disrupted by experiences of emission. It's seiser, cancelled, deletes it. And you have to recount anew. What about peleta shichva zera? She's expelling the zera. I know she's tummy, but on account of what? Is it a personally generated experience, a personally generated tumah, or is it just simply because of contact with something impure? As it's leaving, there is contact. In which case, it's like touching an avela. You're getting some, tumah from an external source. That's not a personal experience. It's not generated by her. It doesn't have any relevance, any impact on the 7 clean days. Will it disrupt the 7 clean days ziva count or not? It's considered like a personal experience, like a re'iyah, and it does disrupt. Return Talmud Bavli. Oh, no. So it's just coming into contact with something impure, and it doesn't affect the Shiva Nakim. Rava. So Rava was wondering about this question. Why is this even something to discuss? Why, he says, Lefum churfa, due to your extra sharpness, shabashta, that threw you off, that misled you. Meaning, what's the notion here to suggest that it would disrupt the Shiva Nakim? Nihi nami desastra. Suppose, let's say, granted, that it's considered a experience, self-generated tumah, like a roya, and it would disrupt. How could it disrupt? Kama tister. How much do you want it to disrupt? Let's say she's in the middle of a Shiva Nakim. On day 3, she has this peleta shichvaser, right? Tister Shiva should disrupt cancel all 7 days. Daya kabay Allah. She can't be worse than the man who was with her. The fact is, as we said before, a man who is in the middle of his Shiva Nakim, of his Ziva, and he has the keri, which is an expression of zera, it only disrupts that day. That day has to be discounted. It's not going to disrupt the whole count of 7 days. So she can't be worse than him. It's the same material. She's no worse than the husband. At most, we're going to suggest that that day cannot be counted. That's impossible because the pasuk clearly requires her 7-day count to be continuous, uninterrupted. Va'achar, after a whole set of 7 clean days without interruption, she becomes Torah. Amar Achmana. Achar lakul has to be after a consecutive, uninterrupted, unobstructed 7 clean days. Shaloi tehi tumah v'sekas b'nei. There can't be any tumah occurring in the middle of the set. Ask the Gemara, what do you mean? According to you, zav gufa yechasasra. What about the man? He was a zav. He's counting 7 days. He has keri. It cancels only 1 day. Same question. Torah says after 7 days, right? Which indicates that it's one single uninterrupted 7-day unit of tahara. Without any tumah occurring somewhere there. So you're compelled to make a distinction between what happened, between what material he experienced. You have to say there's a difference between seeing ziva, which is a certain type of material, which in fact cancels the whole count, and keri, which is only a 1-day issue. Speaking about ziva, that gets in the way. Oh, whoa, that's going to disrupt everything. But keri, it's only a 1-day issue. Here as well, we could suggest that the isha has the same type of status. That the piletas shichva zera perhaps can be considered attributed to her, and does disrupt, but only a 1-day disruption. Torah says there shouldn't be any interruption, otherwise the whole thing gets cancelled. That's if she sees ziva material, but here it's keri, here it's zera, perhaps has a limited effect, just like by the man. We sort of leave it open-ended without a resolution. So back to the members of the Kusi community. They're suspected of being Bayal NIDAH, but it's not a definite confirmed fact. So on the one hand, we classify them as Tami, but with an element of uncertainty. If you take their Begadim into Beis HaMikdash, you're not liable for Chatos, you don't burn Truma, which came into contact with them, etc. Here comes the story of Papa, Ikla. He came to this town, L'Tavach, Amar, and he was looking for a Talmud Chacham to engage in learning. He says, anybody knows of a learned person in this town? Amar, Ikutzum Rabbanon Hachav, there's a Talmud Chacham, I'm going to go visit him. Ezel HaKabalapi. Amar Le'yoi Savta, so this older woman, no less, turns to him and says, I can have a recommendation for you. Ika Hachatzum Rabbanon, there's a great Talmud Chacham here. Rav Shmuel Shmei, his name is Rav Shmuel. And he's learned, V'tani Mas Nice, he learns Bryce, he's the real thing. In fact, I'll give you a blessing. You should grow up like him. Hey, Rabbah, it should be the will of Hashem to have a conversation. You should be like him. Omar, so Papa was impressed. If they're giving me brachas in his name, it must be something really special. Omar Mukedim Varchi, Libigave, since they're blessing me in his name, Shmamino, apparently, Yerei Shemayimu. He's a holy man. He's a great man. Okay, if he's Yerei Shemayim, he must be a high-level scholar too. Azal Gabe. So he visited him, and the host was very welcoming. Ramale Tura, he prepared for him an ox, shechted an ox. They used to throw it down. Okay, so he made something really grand for him. And before they're going to eat, he had a question in learning. Ramale Masnis Nadodi, he asked him an apparent contradiction in the Mishnayos. On the one hand, we say by the Kusim Tanan Ein Chayavan Alein Amiyas Mikdash Vein several Insatruma. Right? We can't mention to my son Safik, because the whole Tumah is Safik by the Kusim. Alma apparently Misfeka when it's uncertain. Loy Safin Truma, we don't burn Truma. But I mean, here comes a kasha. But I mean, from a Mishnah and Taharis, where we see that we'll burn Truma even when it's just a Safik Tumah. Al Shishos Svekis Serve Nasatrum. We burn Truma on account of 6 types of uncertainties. Al Safik, one of them is Safik B'dam Haaretz. You have an unlearned fellow, his beggar is treated like Safik Tumah. Because maybe he became tummy somehow, because he's not known to be careful in matters of Tumah. Now we're assuming that a Kusi, You assume you don't get a bigger Amaretz than that. It certainly qualifies as an Amaretz. So skip the fact that he was Boyal Nida, that's an uncertainty, but on account of being an Amaretz, that in itself should suffice to render his begadim as Tamei with respect to burning Truma. Amar Papa, the guest, says, oh, this is a tough one here, Rava. I'm only hoping that we should have a peaceful meal. L'shlama, this Torah, this meat should be eaten in peace. In any case, he knew that it's going to be tough to answer this, and he says, I'll tell you what I'm thinking. The Kusi Chavar. This Kusi only has a concern on account of being a part of the Kusi club, but he's not qualified as Namaretz. Why? He's a Kusi Chavar. Chavar is discussed over there in Mishnayos and Zroim. He's a fellow who committed to adhering to high level of Tahara, etc. So there's no concern, other than the fact that he's a Kusi. So the guest came back, and the host comes back and says, what do you mean? Chavar, Kusi. Chaver, if he's a Kusi Chaver, keeps higher standards, then why is he suspected of being a Boyal Nida? Boyal Nida Mashri, consider him a Boyal Nida? On the one hand, he's a righteous man, then you say, well, but still, he's a Boyal Nida Mashri, so you consider him Boyal Nida? So he was a little bit unsettled, and he just left the house. Shavke Vosgameder of Simbarashi. She came to Simbarashi and related him the whole exchange. That's what he asked me. That's what I answered him. And he came back strong and he didn't accept my Armalis. He says, well, you could have answered him. My time lady, why don't you say like this? I'll be the chaver. That, true, typically a Kusi also qualifies as an Amaretz, but so happens, we'll find you a case, a scenario where he's free of Amaretz concerns, of Tumas Amaretz concerns, because when he happened to go to the mikveh, it was Erev Kippur, everybody went to, he also went to the mikveh. Shetava v'Allah. He's out of the mikveh v'doras. At that point, he no longer has any concerns of Tumas Hamaretz. He just went to the mikveh. But he still maintains Kusi status. And he's telling me on account of that. That's a 7-day Tumah, right? V'doras al big chaver. He stepped on the beggar of a adhering fellow. V'az big chaver. Rag with Truma. Those begadim went and touched Truma. So here we have a case where it's a split situation. The imishum Tumas Hamaretz are tavale. There's no longer concern about Amaretz because he just went to the mikveh. Mishum Nida. Only thing that's remaining is that maybe he was Baal Nida. But for that alone, you wouldn't burn Truma because that's a double suffix, double uncertainty. There's a question of if and a question of when. Mishum Nida, on account of the Baal Nida concern, that wouldn't justify burning Truma because suffix Baal B'Karev, suffix Le Baal B'Karev, maybe he was involved with her recently, within the last 7 days, in which case he still lingers that tumah, or maybe it was a while ago. So now that he was tayvel, it's done. And even if you assume, worst case, that it was a recent experience within 7 days, but how do we even know that she was tamei, the wife? The whole thing was just a sort of a speculation. Safek yishli masa yarak, safek leishim lasai. Maybe she did, maybe she didn't have the issues with the white and the red and the yellow, right? So really, it's a suffix of a suffix fake. It's a double suffix. Okay, a suffix fake. So if you're in truma, you can't win truma based on that, chance. Ask the Gemara v'teipik le'mishum b'gdem ha'aretz. Fine. I understand that he had just been toivel, so he's tumas ha'aretz free. But he's back dressed again, and his begadim also are tami and matami him. We learned big dam the begadim ha'aretz midras lePrushim, considered like a midras, just in case his wife stepped on them, regarding Prushim relative to people who keep higher standards. Only b'kusi arms. He says we're talking about a kusim who's not dressed, meaning he's not involved with his clothing at this point. So that's not really a factor at play. It's only him himself, his bare skin. Well, he was just tayvel. And therefore, tumas ha'aretz is not relevant. So once that's out of the way, on account of the chashash of Baal Nida, that's a sfex fake, and you can't burn truma for that reason. Okay, so conclusion. We have the Amaretz, where that suffix would justify burning truma, but if we get that out of the way somehow, it's just a question of a kusi who may have been involved with a nida, maybe yes, maybe not. we have tumas safek, but not to the extent that we burn truma. Because it's fixed. Continues the Mishnah. Okay, we completed our discussion regarding the kusim people. What about the tzdukin? Now, tzdukin were Yidden from way back, but they strayed. They rejected the authority of Torah Sheba'al Peh, and that created all kinds of complications. Very similar to the kusim situation, but with slight differences. Apparently, they were not as committed to their deviations, and in fact, even members of tzdukim families would apparently, veer back onto the path. B'nai tzdukim, daughters of tzdukim families, what's their status? Bizman shenahagu l'leches b'darchei v'sein. When we have confirmation that they would, they adopted their family's traditions and would not abide by the dictates of Torah Sheba'al Peh and the proper observance of Hilchas NIDAH. Guess what? Harein kusiyos, they're classified as kusiyos with all its ramifications. But Pirshul Lechel B'dach Yisrael, if they veered away from that deviation and they're back on the right track, okay, welcome home. Harein Kisraelis. The default position is that they're like Yisrael, unless we know otherwise. Unless we know for sure that they're following their family's traditions. Okay, so we know two things. If they're confirmed to be in, they're in. Out, they're out. What about stama? If it's unknown, we don't know where they're holding. Yiboilu stama mai. Tashmai comes a raya. B'nai tzdukim, Mishnah says, Bizmasha nehagis. L'leches v'darchei v'sein. If we know that they're following the Tzduki tradition, harenku kasiyos. What does that imply? Hastama, but if it's an unknown, ki Yisraelis, they're like the regular. Well, Emoseifa. Let's take a look at the next line of the Mishnah. Pirshul Lechel B'dach Yisrael. They're known to have joined the Orthodox movement. Harein Kisraelis, then they're in. Hastama, but if it's unknown, we have to fear the worst. Kisrael kikusiyos. So we have contradicting implications. Elamos, so apparently from this whole part of the Mishnah, you can't really draw any conclusions. Leka, lamash minam, because as we learned in the past, sometimes the Mishnah we don't know which one is the primary expression, which one's sort of secondary. A parallel statement. So is it this way or is it that way? We're not sure which one to focus on and make a diak from, so we have to sort of back off. Tashma comes right from the next part of the Mishnah. It's not a Beis Yomer. He spells it out clearly. He says, Lo'ilam Yisrael. We'll treat him like Yisrael, unless we know otherwise. Unless we know they're following the Duki tradition. So clearly he's regarding a stama, an unknown, to be okay. Now, Cheskas Kashas, we assume that they're okay. And apparently Tanakama, who's his disputant, disagrees on that. And Michal Tanakama Savar, he holds stama, no, kekusiyos, since they're from a Tzduki family, we have to assume they're treading that track, and they're considered to be out of the fold, unless we know otherwise. Shmamina. Okay, so conclusion. If we know one way or the other, if we know they're in, they're in. Out, they're out. Stama, Tanakama says they're out. Rizzi says, no, let's assume they're okay unless we know otherwise. Tana Rabbanon, it comes a story, Masa b'Tzduki Echad, a fellow of a Tzduki family, Shesiper im Kohen Gadol b'Shuk. He's having a discussion with a Kohen Gadol out in the street, and lo and behold, v'nit is a tzinoira mipivis, little spittle, little droplet of saliva, sprayed onto the Kohen Gadol's beged. V'naflo, the Kohen Gadol of Gadol. V'yiriku punish Kohen Gadol. Kohen Gadol's face turned green in fright because he became tamei. The fellow's presumed to be tamei, like the Bayal NIDAH, and he's in trouble now. He can't go back to Beis HaMikdash to do the avodah. So what do? He quickly made a beeline for this fellow's house to interview his wife, to see what kind of lifestyle they observe. He ran to his wife. She told him not to worry. Even though we're card-carrying Tzduki members, even though we're wives of Tzdukim, you should know, Misyaris min Aprushim were afraid, were terrified of the tzaddikim, of the traditionals. We go to the Rav to show our dam, to show our shilas. Don't worry. We don't do like the kusim. We don't differentiate between colors. We're traditional when it comes to Taras HaMishpacha. Okay, whew. He breathed a sigh of relief and he went back to the Beis Hamikdash to do the avodah. Amar Rabbi Yosi. In fact, I can tell you firsthand, we have these tzdukim all around here, and I can tell you for a fact that they're okay on this matter. We're very knowledgeable with their Yosef ben Akoil. I can tell you more than anybody what they do. In fact, they present their shaylas to the chacham. Everybody except for one obstinate woman who lived nearby. She refused to abide by the Hilchas NIDAH. She didn't go to the Rav to ask, and she died. Asked the Gemara. So the Kohen Gadol was safe and sound, fine. Yeah, that's on account of the NIDAH status. But on top of that, he was an Amaretz. Very similar to the Kasha in the previous Gemara. He's carrying 2 cars, this fellow. On the tzduki element, okay, fine, we addressed that. But he's an Amaretz. So his spittle is matami. Forget about the tzduki issue. He's an amaretz. Amar Abaye b'tzduki chaver. He's a tzduki, but he's a chaver, which means to say he committed to a high level of adherence regarding matters of tumah and tahara. So that's not an issue. Amar Rav, how could that be? If he's a tzduki chaver, both NIDAH mashrusay, then why are you concerned that he's involved with a NIDAH? Elamar Rava. Regal Hava. Truth is, he was a full-fledged tzduki and also qualifies an Amaretz. So how do you get around the Amaretz issue? It was Yom Tov time. And on Yom Tov, Tumas Amaretz gets suspended. It's not an issue. But Tumas Amaretz, the general Tumah that's applied to Amaretz, Beregel on Yom Tov, Ketahara, Shavin Rabban, regarded as Tahara, they totally suspended it. T'chsiv, as we have in the Pasuk, Vayasef Kol Ish Yisrael Ala'ir. So all Yisrael gathered together. Ki Ish Echad, they regarded like one entity, like one person. Single status. Ki Ish Echad Chavir. The Pasuk now treats all of Yisrael, no matter what, no matter where your level of observance lies. When it comes Yom Tov, we all join together. We're elevated into a single, unified, holy entity. There's no differentiation between people, between classes of Klal Yisrael. Hakosav Ason, Kulon Chavir, and therefore, Amaretz was not a factor to be concerned about. And regarding the tzduki matter, that was clarified when his wife confirmed that, in fact, they did abide by the laws of Taras HaMishpacha. Okay, so we have a discussion regarding the Baal Kusis, where we treat him like a Baal NIDAH, who although gets her tumah, full 7-day tumah, regarding his own personal tumah, regarding his extensions, his accessories, his mishkav and moishav, that's only a limited tumah called mishkav tachtoin. The mishkav beneath him is ke'elyon, like an elyon shel zav, like something which sat on a zav, which is only a rishon tumah. And this was due to the fact that their wives ran into all kinds of complications, either on account of not differentiating between colors or miscalculating the counting of the days, which took us the whole discussion regarding sinfikuloi, regarding disrupting the counting through zera, etc. We have a story, a papa, and the whole back and forth regarding understanding the ramifications of the tumas suffix of a kusi. Do we have to reckon for Amaretz as well? Yes, no, maybe so. We have the next mission regarding Yitzdukim, who are similar in status, but with a slight difference. The basically says the stomach is okay unless confirmed otherwise. And we concluded with a similar discussion as before, somehow to discount the Amaretz factor in that story with the Yitzduki, kind of with the Kohen Gadol, where it was only concerned about the NIDAH issue, which was allayed by the wife of the Yitzduki, who confirmed that in fact it was a non-issue. All the best to you and Atzlach.